Okay, guys, straight up, full-on honesty. I'm a dumbass. I wrote a little bit of script, and I completely and totally failed to do what I tell you guys to do, which is to include my sources in the comments. So I have this little script. I'm mostly sure that I wrote most of it. Like, I'm sure I've plagiarized. Like, I think I amalgamated a couple of sources. I did a little Googling. To be honest, I can't find an original source, so I suspect that I kind of cobbled together several things to make this. But I'm not sure of that. So in order to not present other people's work as my own, I'm going to be completely upfront in saying that the following script may not actually be my product. It may be directly off of someone else's tutorial. Sorry. So what we're going to do today, though, is we are going to learn to scrape the web. So what you're going to want to do is go down to Lowe's and get yourself a scraper. Hang on. Okay, so I went up to the garage and I got a selection of scrapers. Oh, fuck. Okay, let's go through it quick. This one here's a knockdown knife. That's not even a scraper. It's a foam thing. This one is cheap as shit. Not a good idea. Don't use these. This one's the one I took from Casey after she gouged the bed of the 3D printer with it. It has sharp corners. It's a bad idea. No on 3D printers for that one. The last two of these two scrapers, which are virtually identical, I would recommend the Purdy scraper. Purdy, the brand you can trust. Alright, let's fucking scrape the web. So, what we're going to do is we're going to need two libraries. So, sorry, the paint scraper bit was a little much. But I still do recommend the Purdy scraper. It is the right one. So, in order to scrape the web, first things first, we are going to need a way to get stuff off of the web. And for that, you want the requests library. So we're going to import requests. Okay, that's our first library. You may have to install this. I'm not sure whether it's standard on the install that you have created for yourself. The other one we're going to want is the Beautiful Soup 4 library. So that's BS4. And from the Beautiful Soup library, I am only going to need the Beautiful Soup object. And I know this seems crazy right now, okay? So bear with me a little bit. You probably have to pip install both of these. I'm just going to run this just to see. Okay. Executed. I'm not having problems importing, so these are installed on my system. You may have to install them. You know, if you do, just in here, pip BS4. Oops. Not pip BS4. Pip install BS4. Blah, blah, blah. You guys have installed packages. It's telling me that it's up to date. So, rad. You may have to do that. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to make ourselves a request. So, oh, you can see it even tells me. It tells me get requests. Sorry, request.get is the right thing. Because, yeah, I mean, that feels like the right thing, right? Python's nothing if not predictable. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to say the request results are going to be requests.get, and then in here you need your web address as a string. So I'm just going to go over here and get my favorite Wikipedia page, which is, of course, the Wikipedia page for hand scraper, because this video is nothing if not silly. Yeah. So, hand scraper. Okay. Alright. So, now what we're going to do after we have gone out and gotten this, let's just check that that's worked. So I'm just going to try this r.status code. Just like out of curiosity. I've never tried this. So I'm going to need to do request results dot status code. I got to be honest, I've gone a little bit off the rails here. This was not in my original. Oh, that's fun. It didn't do anything. Let's have it print the request results dot status code. 200. What does 200 mean? Not a clue. Yeah, okay. Cool. Well, at least it doesn't seem to be broken. The number 200 appeared in there. It's not telling me that it can't find anything. I wonder what happens if I put something in here that I probably can't find. Is it going to tell me something crazy? Oh, good. 404. Perfect. Sick. All right. So, again, we want the hand scraper Wikipedia page. And then, you know, this is really about running kind of a headless browser. It's not actually a headless browser. It's a little dumber than that. We could work on a headless browser if we wanted. But what I really want is just to get stuff out of here. So right now this is only printing the status code, which is just telling me that it's working. So forget that. Now that we've created this thing. So right now this request results object is a requests.get result, right? So it actually, what the heck? Let's just check what type of thing that is. Oops. My guess is it's some kind of object. It is a request.models.response. And it is, in fact, an object. Cool. All right. So the next thing I'm going to want to do with it, because right now it is some kind of awful gobbledygook, probably. So that is where the Beautiful Soup library comes in. So what I want to do is I want to make a Beautiful Soup object out of the request results, and I'm only going to pass it the text parts of that. So actually we could kind of see what's in here. I'll save you the fiddling around. If you want to, run a directory on this thing, you can do that and see what's available in there. I am just going to say, all right, the Wikipedia page is a Beautiful Soup object that I'm going to start by calling request results.text. So I'm going to pass it the text out of my request results. And I'm going to pass it a parameter, which is html.parser. So that's just telling it to expect an HTML object, or an HTML type thing, and parse it out. So you guys have had, hopefully you watched the video, that's just a basic crash course on HTML. So this is going to let me get at some of that HTML. All right, so if I hit run here, I probably get bupkis out of it because I didn't actually tell it to do anything, right? So in order to get something out of this, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to print out the results of the whole thing. Okay, so I'm going to print out wiki page, and we could print this. I'm not sure what it'll give us. Let's try it just for kicks. I didn't try this on now. Gack. Okay, that looks rawful. So one thing you can do to improve that result is you can do .prettify. So the Prettify method puts some tabs and spaces in there so it looks a little better. Okay, so at least now it doesn't look terrible. French. Oh, that's fun. So you can tell some things from this right now. Like, for instance, just right here, I can tell that there's a link, right? Remember, that's an anchor, right? that links to the Wikipedia tongs page that says tongs. I'm not sure why. Let's see, nav box, blah, 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 alignment, padding, bullshit, div style. Why is there a list of tools in here? You guys see this? This is like a list of hand tools. Okay, so if I go get the scraper page, and I'm just going to do a quick Control F on the scraper page for tongs. That's not how you spell tongs. Tongs. Nothing. But it's like a list. Oops, sorry, I lost it. Uh-oh, shit, I lost it. It's in here somewhere. Somewhere in here there's a list of tools. This HTML code seems like it's longer than the website, right? You guys see that? So what's going on there is there's probably some stuff like that's linked in the background here. Oh, like there's this metalworking hand tools. And if I click this, I get a whole bunch of stuff. If I hit show, I bet that's where it is, right? Control F. Tongs. There we go. So see how some of these are kind of hidden, right? So this is because there's a little bit more than static HTML going on right here. If I look at the source code by hitting F12, right, so I'm inspecting the code, you see these scripts? Those are kind of hiding stuff from you. And now, this isn't a JavaScript class, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time showing you guys how to go in and out of JavaScript. That's a different course, it's a different topic. It is a good topic to know, but it's not this topic. So I'm going to just parse regular old HTML. The good news is that Wikipedia's page actually seems to include more HTML than it actually shows you. Some websites will just give you a JavaScript script. So there's ways to deal with that. We maybe will deal with it a little bit in the... Actually, I probably won't teach you to read JavaScript at all. It's not super hard. It's not very different than Python, but I probably won't teach you to read any of it. If you get stuck with some JavaScript, you can do some stuff. It's a little bit complex for this, so I'm not going to show you right now. But what I would like to do, instead of reading the entire HTML site, which, frankly, I have a better tool. I have a browser. If I wanted to read HTML, I'm going to read it in the browser. I'm not going to read it in the friggin' console, right? Like, why would you? So, say instead that I wanted to do something like pick out just the paragraphs, right? So, then I might do something like, all right, so instead of printing this whole thing, what I'm going to do is just get the paragraphs. So, I'm going to do for paragraph in wiki page dot select. Okay, so now that Wikipedia page is a beautiful soup object that was run through kind of with the idea of HTML parsing. So all the tags are split out using their HTML tags. So I'm going to select P things for paragraphs, and then we're going to print those paragraphs. Okay, so now my expectation is that I should get a couple of paragraphs out of this. Yeah, okay. Oh. Oops, my bad. Colons are important. Okay, so, I got paragraph. A hand scraper is a single-edged metal tool, right? So let me go look. Where'd my, oops, sorry, it's underneath here. A hand scraper is a single-edged tool. Okay, cool. So I have selected out the paragraph type objects. Now, this is still printing kind of for garbage, yeah? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the paragraph type objects, and then I'm going to call on those paragraph type objects the getText method. So this, if I hit here, it is sieving, right? So it's, you guys know what a sieve is? It's like a screen, certain size holes in it that you shake to get smaller rocks fall through and the bigger rocks end up at the screen. This is basically the same thing. It's selecting, right? So it's going through and it's grabbing everything with a paragraph tag. So you can tell that it's just parsing out all the paragraphs. Now, the neat thing is that the result of this select gives you a paragraph type object that you can then, it gives you a, alright, fine. It gives you an HTML type object. We could actually print out one of these. Let's actually do that. Let's see exactly what they call it, because I didn't actually check. So let's print out the type of a paragraph. And then we'll call the getText method on that. And again, you could call a directory if you wanted to be, if you wanted to know exactly what methods were available for you here. But the getText one is enough for me right now. Okay, so they are beautiful soup element tags, apparently, is the object type. Okay, so I can see that I'm getting, as soon as this runs, I'm getting just the paragraph type contents. So other things you can scrape for that are useful are things like email addresses, or links, or files, or other stuff. So depending on exactly what it is that you want to scrape, you can do some of that. This method is kind of as chill as it gets. So I need the requests library, right? And so what I did was I got a response from the requests library, right? So I did a get on a URL as a string. I got some kind of response. I stuck that into a request, right? Into a variable, and then I made that variable's text with the HTML parser into a beautiful soup object. And then what we did was we went through the beautiful soup object and we're selecting out the paragraphs, and then we're printing each paragraph's text. So this is the very basics of web scraping, but we have now successfully scraped us some web. We'll do some harder things here in a bit.